I hope I made this public. Let's see. Okay, it's public. What's up, folks? How's it going? I'm going to start when we got let's say 20 people. Okay, I'm going to wait until we got 20 people on, and yeah, I'm going to start lecturing then. Welcome, everybody who's joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you're here. You're in the right spot if you want to learn about witchcraft and practical magic. All right. Cool. 12 people. That's good. Awesome. That's it. Okay, people coming in. That's good. I'm about to start. And I'm gonna lecture first a little bit, okay? What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, Shar. You can already post your questions if you'd like. I'm gonna pick them up later, okay? And yeah, please let me know where you're from. Dominica in the house. What's up? What's your name? Where you from? Let us know. George Copa. What's up? How's it going? Professional fighter George Copa in the house. It's good. So, like I said, guys, you can already post your questions, regardless of what topic. Okay, I'm going to cover them later. I'm personally going to start talking about pacts with spirits in just a bit. Okay, I'm going to start talking about that rather soon. I'm just looking for a link here. Okay. I'm about to start, guys. Give me 1 minute. What time is it at your place? What time is it where you are? Over here it is 5:15 a.m. 5:15 in the morning. Nice. $10:15. Okay. 10:15 p.m. I am. Good. 11:15. Well, thanks for staying up that late. Well, you probably just caught me. You didn't stay up because of this, of course. Yeah. Okay. So let it be 20 people, and I'm going to start talking about pacts with spirits. Okay. Very important topic here. 19. Okay. We're almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Do demons choose you or you choose them? Good question. I'm going to answer that in just a bit. Okay. We're 19 people. 19 people. Come on, let it. Come on. We need 20. Let it be 20. Of course, over time, more people are going to come in, but I'm going to start lecturing when we get 20 people. Okay. Okay, until the 20th person shows up. Yeah. Boom. There now. Okay, so before I start talking about this topic, first of all, for those of you who are not aware of it yet, I'm going to move my audience, or my content, essentially. I'm going to move it more and more away from social media. That includes YouTube, but I mean, I'm not going to stop doing these things, but you know, due to censorship, well, my viewership has been basically suppressed a little bit. Okay, the numbers have been suppressed. Also, I'm not able to talk about everything that I would like to talk about on social media, okay, because there's there are rules that will get me banned if I break them, right? So what is being created right now is a forum, okay, a forum that is separate from all of those social media outlets. It's separate from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everything else. It's a separate forum where everything can be discussed. I can give you exclusive content, no taboos, okay? And it's going to be much better than what I'm able to do here. Okay? And it's going to be, of course, free to join. Now, how do you find out where this forum is? Well, you're going to get notified about that if you're a member of my Facebook group, Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Okay, so I'm going to post that link to the Facebook group now in the chat. For those of you who are still not members of this group, I highly, highly recommend that you join that group, okay? Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Okay, posting it now in the chat. Okay, Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Join the family, join the empire, okay? Join the empire of the Grail of the Serpent. And you do that by getting into this group. You will already receive exclusive content there. Plus, every Tuesday, and I've already done that twice. Every Tuesday, there are free Zoom calls, okay, for members of this group. Free Zoom calls where I cover the topics of psychic seduction, love spells, money magic, and wealth magic. Okay, very, very high level stuff, very, very valuable content that you're only going to get when you're a member of the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Okay, every Tuesday I will post a link there for a Zoom call, and you can then join the Zoom call and watch that lecture totally for free. The replay of those lectures will be available in a vault, and that vault will be part of the new forum. Okay, you're going to get all of that for free. So what you need to do right now is you got to get into the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. It's a free Facebook group. You're going to get exclusive content there, and it's going to allow you to join those Zoom calls where every Tuesday I lecture on love spells, psychic seduction, and on the topic of wealth magic and money magic. I already did 2 lectures, and yeah, you definitely want to join that, okay? You want to be there, you want to get that content. It's extremely, extremely valuable, trust me, okay? Everybody who makes that step, everybody who watches these lectures, everybody who gets that content will attest to the fact that it is very, very good, and it is helping them. It is helping them, giving them a better understanding of this craft, and it's making them better magicians as such. Okay, the better you understand a topic, the better you get at it, right? So if you want to get good at these things, if you want to get good at psychic seduction, if you want to get good at love spells, if you want to get good at money magic, if you want to get good at attracting money through magic, you want to join those lectures. Also, there will be 1 live on YouTube per month. Okay, this is the live for January 2021. Okay, next month there will be 1 live as well. Okay, and only once per month. Okay, so I should probably let you know in advance when that's going to be, so you can you can show up and make time for it and all that. Right? It's better if it's just that spontaneous, because most people lose out on it. But yeah. So like I said, I just posted the link for the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle Facebook group. You want to join that group for the links to the Zoom calls, okay? And this will allow you to join the empire of the Grail of the Serpent, okay? So we already got a couple questions, and guys, you can already please ask your questions here in the chat. I'm going to lecture a little bit first about Pacts, but I'm going to pick up those questions later for sure. Okay. And cool. All right. So, and oh, yeah, one last thing. From now on, actually, it's been a week or so. The Grail of the Serpent will no longer cover anything else but love spells, psychic seduction, and money magic and wealth magic. Nothing else anymore. Okay, just so you know. If you want to learn about those two topics, you're welcome. The Grail of the Serpent is for you. If not, you're probably not going to find what you're looking for here. But if you're looking to get better at psychic seduction, if you want to get better at love spells, if you want to master, money through magic, you're in the right place. Okay, so let's start. I actually didn't plan on doing this live today. I didn't have that much sleep today. I slept, I think, like 3 hours, 2 3 hours, more like 2. And I was working. I've been working all day, and it's already 5:24 in the morning. So, I should probably go to bed soon. Right? But here's why I wanted to do this live. About an hour, no, 2 hours ago, I was talking to a. Do I want to call her client? I'm going to call her friend. Okay, maybe she's even on. Maybe she's live. Maybe she's watching this. If you are watching this and you're comfortable with it, just say hi. It was me. Okay, that'd be very nice. You don't have to, but it would be nice. Anyways, I was talking to her, and she mentioned we were talking about helping her in her business through magic, right? And I suggested the idea of creating a servitor for that. Okay, a servitor for that. And she told me about her concern and how she's concerned about that, and that there are so many questions that she has about it. You see, and that she doesn't feel comfortable with doing that because she just doesn't know what it is all about, and she's heard a lot of stuff about like, I don't know. There are many unanswered questions. You see, and then I thought, I mean, see, one of the things that you have to know is that the more you know about a specific topic, the less it is able to affect you negatively, and the more you're going to be able to use it to your advantage, right? Obviously. So the best way to help people is to educate them about the subject of magic. All right, because a lot of what's stopping people from taking advantage of this God-given power, okay, or of this birthright to use the occult, to use magic energy to improve your life. What's holding people back oftentimes is just their fear about that topic, and the fear comes from not really understanding it. Okay, so today I want to help you in understanding this topic better. Okay, this topic of pacts, this topic's a topic of working with spirits. All right, because look, I mean, to her I was talking about a servitor, right? But see, a servitor is usually only the first step. It's the first step in a, what's the word? It's not as intense as a pact. And usually, what happens in magic is as you step foot into it, you do small things, and that increases, and it kind of like pulls you into more and more intense experiences. Yeah, and I think it's better if we talk about pacts rather than servitors. Okay, so let's talk about pacts first. All right. What is a pact? What is a pact with a spirit? You might have heard of a Faustian pact. Okay? It's funny. The very first video that I did on this YouTube channel was about the Faustian pact. Well, what is the Faustian Pact? Well, it's there was this. It's basically literature. Okay, there was a story about a man that had studied everything. You know, back in a time where it was still possible to be um, a what did they call that? A Renaissance man. Okay, a Renaissance man is essentially an individual, or a Renaissance woman. I'm sure that exists too, right? So it's basically an individual that is extremely educated in the entire accumulated knowledge of humanity. Okay, well, that's absolutely impossible nowadays, of course. Okay, there's way too much. But I mean, in the 14th century, you know, or so, where the amount of knowledge that was accessible was not that massive, you know, it was possible to study for, I don't know, decades, and have a good grasp of the entire accumulated knowledge of humanity, right? And Faust was such a character. Okay, Faust was a student of theology, law, science, um, arts, you know, all kinds of things. And he had penetrated these subjects to a very deep level. Okay? But in none of these topics and in none of these fields of study, he found profound answers to his questions. Okay. He wanted to peek into the occult. What was left at that point was studying, yeah, the forbidden knowledge, okay, which is the occult. And so he conjured Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles is a virgin. I'm sorry, a version, not virgin, is a version of quote unquote the devil. Okay. Now he conjured him up. He well, we will call it an evocation. Okay, so he performed a ritual that called that entity called that entity forth, and that entity then greeted him and told him that he had the answers. He had the answers, and he could teach him everything. Not only that, he would teach him what he wanted to know. But at the same time, he would give him everything that he wanted, because through his secret knowledge that he would teach him, he would give him the world, essentially, everything that a man could desire. He would give him women. He would give him riches. He would give him high positions. He would give him power over the crown. Not that he would be the king. I mean, listen, being in the 14th century, being a king is probably not the most desirable the position that you can be in. The most desirable position to be in is probably the court astrologer, right? Which is basically every king had a private magician, okay, spiritual consultant. That's what they would call it these days, okay, spiritual consultant, spiritual advisor, right? They're court magicians, court astrologers. So Mephistopheles promised to give him all of that. In return, he wanted his soul. And well, the story basically doesn't end well for Faust. Of course, he gets all of that stuff. He gets riches, he gets women, he gets, you know, everything that that he could ask for in a material realm, but it doesn't end well. And in the end, he gets dragged into hell. See, now this story is essentially what shaped people's view of this topic of pacts, which is not really how it works. Okay, which is not really how it works. First of all, this idea of selling your soul is complete bullshit. Does not exist. Does not work. Well, look, if the person convinces themselves that they're selling their soul or something like that, yeah, but like, look, you can convince yourself of pretty much anything, really. Okay, but it doesn't mean that there's any reality to that. Okay. So the first thing that you have to understand is that pacts are really misunderstood, and that they don't really work like that. Okay. Number two, when people talk about pacts, the first thing that comes to their mind is a demon. Okay, no, you can make pacts with anything. You can make pacts with a god. You can make pacts with an angel. You can make pacts with any type of spirit. You know, I've recently facilitated a pact for people with Casanova. You can make a spirit with. I mean, you can make a pact with the spirit of a person that was very good at something. Now, what does it mean when you have a pact? What is that? Well, look, when you, I mean, let's think about the idea of a mentor. Okay, have you ever had a mentor? Have you ever had a mentor? Well, if you never had a mentor, let me teach you, or let me tell you about the secret of having a mentor. What makes having a mentor so powerful? Having a mentor, the power behind that is that you learn through osmosis, or you learn by association. Okay? A lot of the things that you pick up from listening to somebody is their worldview, their internal map about something. You see, as you study a subject for a while, and as you apply it, as you master it, you change your internal map about the world. Isn't that right? Isn't that true? The only difference between a master at bowling, or maybe that's not the best example. Let's take a master boxer or something like that. Okay, a boxer. Would you agree that Mike Tyson sees the fight, sees a boxing match different from you? Do you agree? Do you agree that Mike Tyson would probably, asked about the fight, would point out things that you completely missed and that you wouldn't, I don't know, wouldn't have thought of at all? Okay? I'm sure you would agree. Why? Because Mike Tyson is a master of boxing, and as a master of this sport, art, whatever, he has a completely different internal map that allows him to see the world different than you. And he looks at that thing and sees something completely different. All right. Now, the same applies to anything else. So the value of spending time with a mentor who should be very, very high level in a specific field is that you pick up their internal map. You see, you pick up the way they think. This is also the value, among other things. Of course, I'm answering questions here, but the real value that you're getting from hearing me answer so many questions is that you pick up my internal map and how I process this whole thing, how I process magic, how I process the occult. And you then pick up a worldview. That's really what it is about, to learn from somebody, okay? Now, a pact is not selling your soul. A pact is making a connection with a specific energy, an entity, okay? And that entity teaches you through association, teaches you by association. The way I teach people to do a pact is there's a specific ritual that they do on a daily basis, ideally. It's probably not possible to do it every day, but the way they do it is they commune with that spirit. Communing with a spirit, what does that mean? You spend time with that energy around you. And see, the energy that you carry around with you, your aura, affects your inner world. It affects your brain and nervous system. Okay, so when the spirit is around you and you spend time with it, it can affect you internally, and it can change you. See, what we don't understand, or what a lot of people in the Western world, what we don't, generally speaking, what most people in our culture don't understand is that the possession of something, or the having, is a result of a beingness. Okay, so you have to be before you can have. Be, do, and have is the sequence. Most people focus on the behavior and the possession. They want to be and have. I'm sorry, they want to do and have. You see, do and have. People always focus on what do I need to do? What do I want to have? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do here, there? When in reality, the right actions are the result of the right identity. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. Okay, but I used to have a business with a bunch of employees. Okay, and there was one guy who was, I don't know, there was something. He was just. It seemed as if he was sabotaging the entire process. Okay, when you have a business, a business is a process essentially. Okay, a business is a process where the employees or the people that work for you should know exactly what they have to do step by step by step, so they don't have to think about the bigger picture. That's your job as the business owner. You create the bigger picture. You have the entire process in your view, and you just let those people do specific tasks, and you make sure that the entire machine runs, right. And that guy that had a specific job to do, it almost seemed as if he was sabotaging the entire operation. Right? But when I was talking to him, I could feel that he didn't do it intentionally. It's for some reason he would fuck up all the time, but he did not do it intentionally. I was convinced of that 100%. Okay, so what I did in the next step was I gave him a different role in that operation. Okay, you know what happened? He just blossomed. You see what I mean? Have you ever experienced something like that where maybe you were in one position and then for some reason you were in a different one, and all of a sudden you started to bloom, all right, or you became super good at what you were doing? Well, I tell you what the difference was. That guy had the wrong identity for that position. You see what I mean? And in the same way, if you are not doing well in a specific situation, it's because your identity, your subconscious identity, is not aligned with what you're supposed to do. Do you understand? So if you have a new project, if you have a new goal, if you have a vision for it, I mean, look, it's still January of 2021, and I'm sure a lot of you have some sort of a plan for 2021 or some sort of goals that you want to accomplish. The first thing, before you think about the actions, before you create the plan, before you get the resources to make it happen, the first thing that should come to your mind when you do that is, do I have the right identity to do that? Okay. And look, your identity is not something fixed. Okay. Your identity is not fixed. It's something that is malleable, and to a large extent, you can decide who you want to be. You see, I know you. I mean, I know you probably haven't been taught that, but it's true. You can choose your identity. You have a choice to decide who you want to be in every single situation. Now, of course, you have natural talent, something that you're naturally good at, something that you're naturally bad at. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. You should always build on your strengths, of course, but there's a lot of room for flexibility. Okay, so you can change your identity to a large extent, and you should always make sure that your identity is aligned with what you want to have, because it's be, do, and have. You see what I mean? The behavior is a natural result of an identity. Do you know what attitude means? Do you know what attitude means? If you wanna know what something means, always look up the etymology, the root of the word. Attitude comes from the French word étudier, right? And that's a word that they would use to describe the posture of a dancer, or the posture of an actor, or the posture of a ballet dancer. Okay, étudier. What's their posture? What's their position? All right. Now think about that. What does that mean? Based on, let's say, the dynamic between two people, they will take on a different posture. Isn't that true? And what I'm going to explain here is a little bit. What's the word? Example. one person is overly domineering. The other person is overly submissive or intimidated. Okay, what would that look like? Well, that person here is probably going to be a little bit like, is going to take less space. Okay, they're going to have they're going to bow their head. Okay, a little bit. They're going to take less space. They're going to speak in a low voice. And they're not going to be moving so much. Okay, because in this moment they feel threatened, and they will not be able to take a lot of space because they're they're afraid. Okay, they can't take any risks, so to speak. That's literally how their reptilian brain interprets it. The person that is overly dominant, or is overly like intimidating, is probably going to be standing up tall. It's going to take a lot of space. Is going to speak loud. You're probably also going to see it in their face. Okay. Now, this external expression is also connected to an internal state. Does that make sense? Also, both of those people have a certain view of the entire situation. Both of them have an internal map of the entire situation. Okay. And they identify with one role in that entire situation. Now, obviously, that guy that is intimidated will identify with the position of, being threatened. So he takes on the attitude of the person that is being threatened. You see, but the attitude is visible not just in. The attitude is not just something that is going on mentally. It's visible in how they act. You see, with the other person, of course, as well. Right. So the attitude is the way they think, the way they interpret the situation. It's probably also going to determine their internal dialogue. You see, if they were to have an internal dialogue about what's going on there, can you imagine that both of them would have completely different internal dialogues? This guy would be like, "Fuck this motherfucker," right? The other would be like, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, don't hurt me," something like that, right? It will be a different internal dialogue. So they talk to themselves differently. Can you imagine that their emotions will differ? Yeah, of course. And their posture. So the first takeaway is, of course, you can influence your emotions through your posture. That's number one. Okay. What would happen if that person that is intimidated would stand up tall like this, while the other person is trying to intimidate them? They stand up tall, look them right in the eye, lift their chin up and stand like this. Would that do something to the dynamic? Would that person feel now a little bit like maybe intimidated themselves? And would that person feel stronger? Yes. Would that shift the entire dynamic? Would the thought process of both of them change? Would their emotions change? Of course, it would have an effect there. You see what I mean? So the attitude changes, boom, everything changes. The attitude, most of all, is the position that you take mentally, in relation to a specific situation. It's always contextual. An attitude is contextual. All right. The attitude determines your body language. Use your body language to influence your attitude. Use your internal dialogue, your thought process to influence your internal dialogue. That's going to shift your emotions. Okay. And your behavior is going to change then too. You see? So it's be, do, and have. Who are you? What is your attitude? That's the first thing that you always think about. You have big goals. This year you want to kill it. The first thing you need to do is change your beingness, which is your attitude. How do you see the world, and what's your internal representation of the world, and where are you in that world? And then act accordingly. Take on the attitude that matches that. You want to be a boss, you want to be a fucking, you want to kill it. I don't know, you want to be a boss bitch. Act like it first, okay? Act like it first. Yeah. Change your body language, and pay attention to that. You got to think in the right way. You got to speak in the right way and all that. Okay. So that's the first takeaway. So the beingness comes before the possession, the havingness. Okay. And believe, it's true. It's true. Try it out. So it's be, do, and have, right? Now, what determines the attitude is the internal map. All right. So behavior comes from an internal map, and behavior is the prerequisite to possession, to havingness. So when you are around somebody that already has something that you want and you spend time with them, you will pick up their internal map. And that in turn is going to make it almost automatic that you're going to possess the same thing that they will have, and to a large extent that works subconsciously because an internal map that is habitual is subconscious. Okay. It's not that people that I mean, often they do, of course, influence themselves like that. But a lot of the stuff that is part of the mental map is subconscious. So let's say you want to be let's stick with boxing. Okay. If you were to train with a world-class boxer, you will become really good at that as well, really fast. Much faster than if you would do that yourself. Right? I think that's clear. The same with I don't know, you want to get, I don't know, let's say you want to be a great real estate investor or something like that. You want to own a portfolio of properties that is worth $200 million. The fastest way to possess that, to have that, is to spend time with a real estate investor that owns a portfolio worth $1 billion. Okay, because you're going to pick up their internal map, and you're subconsciously going to you're going to copy that. Okay, and that works in your favor. That also works against you if you spend time with people that are, low level, negative, just people that you don't want to be like. You will not really have a choice. You will pick up their traits if you spend time with them. You see, it's their energy, and also, I mean, we got a process in our brains. It's called. I mean, we have these mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are neurons that are designed to simulate the behavior of the people around us. Okay, it's kind of like a social mechanism that allows us to synchronize with other people. You do that automatically. You don't really have a choice. So if you are surrounded by negative people, you will become like them. You will become like them too. Okay, so it's very important that you pick the right people that you have around you. Now, look, all of that applies to the physical, of course. Okay, so be, do, and have. If you want something, spend some time with somebody who already has what you want, and you will have it too. Easy. Okay, much faster. Now you could learn that all by yourself, but it's going to take years longer, and it's going to be fucking hard, much harder. So it's much faster if you spend time with somebody else that already has that. The same applies to magic. Okay, and not in terms of spend time with a person that's good at magic. What I'm talking about is spirits. Let's say an angel of wealth, for instance. Okay, an angel of wealth has knowledge and power over that area of life. You see, when you make a pact with that spirit, and then use the communion, meaning the energetic contact, that spirit is going to change you inside out. It's going to be like your spiritual mentor that is going to create the internal map within you that you need in order to accomplish that, or to have whatever it is that you want. You see, so a pact works in a way where you agree with the spirit who you want to become. You see, now, no, most people think of this in terms of I want to have something, but I just explained that before you can have something, you first have to be a certain individual. You see, so when you do a pact with a spirit for something, you're actually making a pact with a spirit to become the person that is capable of having what you put into the pact. Does that make sense? You see, so the pact is done with a spirit that has complete knowledge and control over a specific aspect of of reality. In this case, wealth, for instance, okay? Or it could be something like love. In the case of pickup, for instance, I facilitated pacts with Casanova or something like that. You know what I mean? And through the ritual that I then teach the student, they can commune with that energy, and they will change into the individual. And Casanova or whatever angel or spirit that was chosen changes the person inside out so that they can become that individual, and as a result of that have what it is. Okay, listen, have you ever been in an environment around a person that is really good at something, you know, a master at something, okay, and they could, for some reason, they could make things happen that you couldn't make happen, right? Why is that? Well, they had a different internal map. They were in the same physical environment, weren't they? But they could make shit happen that you couldn't make happen. Why is that? Well, it's because they saw the world different than you. See, so it's about what's going on inside of you. Who are you? What's your attitude? What's your position in that context? Okay, and the spirit can help you become that. So that's why you make a pact. All right, it has nothing to do, and I'll repeat that. I know that's look, the Faustian myth that I gave you in the beginning is basically what gave this thing of making pacts a bad rap, but it's really just a student-teacher relationship, or it's a mentorship with the spirit. That's what a pact really is, you see. And yeah, I think I should cover some questions now. See what's going on here. What do we got? Do demons choose you, or you choose them? I would never let myself be chosen by a demon, because a demon has never your best interest at heart. Okay. Some people will disagree. Well, look at their lives and look at them. Okay? Almost everybody that I know that lets demons guide them in their life ends up in a really bad situation. Most of them have serious issues, for sure. Okay. Look, the problem with the demonic is that it is demonic. You see, it's not necessarily a psychic environment that is conducive to health and good luck. All right. So demons are something that you can work with, but you've got to find a balance. I'll tell you what happens to most demonologists that exclusively work with demons and spend their time in that psychic atmosphere all the time. They develop some form of weird cancer, very rare case, and then very rare. They almost all of them go to jail at some point. They develop a drug habit. They're completely fucked up, And when I say drugs, I'm talking serious stuff. All right, junkies, not in control over their lives. They talk about power and demons and all of that, and when you look at them, they break because they have zero power in them, because they put all of that on the demons. Like, oh yeah, demon help me, demon this, demon that. The real way to deal with this stuff is you should become more powerful. All right. You put any of those guys in front of somebody who carries a little bit of truth, they break because they're weak. They're not in alignment with real power, you see. Good as question, maybe. So a demon, I'm sure any demon will be happy to choose you so that you can serve it. But I don't know if that's what you want, you see. Will the subliminals have any effect via speakers? I'm not completely sure. They're designed to be listened to with headphones. Okay, so I don't know if they're going to have any effect on you. I'm sure some effect's going to be there, but headphones is probably better. I tried to join Frank, but I was not accepted. Yeah, I mean, look, 99% of the people are accepted into the group. If I for some reason don't accept you into the group, it's because you did something that made me suspicious of you. Okay, so either it was a weird profile picture or some, I don't know, something. Okay, I don't want weird. Look, listen, don't take it personal, okay? But I don't. I want normal people in that group, okay? Look, there is a place for being like edgy and being like different than the rest, but there is something like being too weird, okay? People that are too weird are usually people that have issues and problems, okay? And I'm not a self-help group. I'm not a therapist, okay? And so it's I want people that are like sane, if that makes sense. Okay, and once again, don't take it personal. I don't even know if that was you, but what I'm saying is, uh, just be a normal individual. Okay, doesn't mean that you have to be super square, but it means you can't be all fucked up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Astro Priestess, what's up, Nicole? Hi, Frank. How's it going? I am Magi says, I made my wallpaper the Grail of the Serpent and I've already noticed changes in my life. Thank you. That means you're a member of our empire. Very good. Yes, and you're already benefiting from the Grail of the Serpent. Listen, guys, I promise you, this symbol, this seal, will give you spiritual protection. It's going to make you spiritually much more powerful. Okay, so use it as a talisman. It's going to attract good luck for you. It is the seal of the Grail of the Serpent that will make the spirits bow in front of you. And all of you who haven't joined yet, I posted the group, the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Okay, I want all of you to join. All of you, okay, join our empire. The Grail of the Serpent is an invisible empire. It's a network, and any member of this network will be spiritually empowered. This is an invisible empire that will strengthen you, protect you, and help you in all kinds of different ways. And we're all helping each other out. We're feeding all into it and strengthening each other. So come join this empire and get strong and get powerful. What's this? Hey, Frank, what's up? Frank looks good. Thank you. Just started working the Qliphoth. I worked with many demons before, but I'm a little confused about working through the spheres in the Qliphoth advice. You're confused about working on this. Work through the tree of life first before you attempt to work through the Qliphoth. That's my advice. Okay. Then there shouldn't be a confusion. What you do is you expose yourself to the energies. I mean, there are certain rituals that you do to enter, or I mean, when you enter a sphere, let's say the Qliphoth or the Sephiroth, you don't enter anything. What you do is you awaken a specific energetic quality, access to a specific energetic quality within you, and then you perceive the world from that frequency. And with that, different environment, I mean, same environment, same people, same job, whatever, but you will have different experiences. And you will be able to sustain yourself in that energy, and that means you will be able to master it. Okay. But in order to withstand the Qliphoth and to work through them, you need a foundation. Okay. And the foundation is found in the tree of life. For those of you who don't know, that there's a tree of life, which is what you will find as a spiritual map in in the oral tradition of Jewish mysticism. And then there's the other side, which is the shells, the broken shells, the first failed creation, with the pandemonium and the demons in there, archdemons, fallen angels. All right. Can you manifest a specific person you like being interested in you if they are emotionally unavailable, or would need someone? Would you need something stronger, like a love spell? All right. My first advice would be, if that person is with somebody else, What's the real intention there? Do you just want to know that you could have that person? My experience with love spells is that oftentimes the only reason why you desire somebody, or oftentimes it's like that. The only reason why people desire somebody is because they think they can't have them. All right. Oftentimes that's the case. And then you're with the person, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that person isn't that great. So um, you got two choices here. Okay. Number one, you really go for that individual that you just mentioned. Okay, I really want that person. But why? On the other hand, you could manifest somebody out of the ether that has maybe more of the qualities that you want. That has, also the personality, not just the looks that you want, and all of that stuff. Okay, so um, I really don't know how to answer that question specifically. So my recommendation would be that you just create a general atmosphere around you that attracts a suitable lover. Okay. I think a lot of people, when it comes to this stuff, are really in scarcity mode. There is no scarcity of anything. This idea of scarcity is a lie that somebody invented at one point, probably in order to control people. I don't know. There's no scarcity when it comes to money. There's no scarcity when it comes to resources. There's no scarcity when it comes to people, lovers, all of that. That's a lie. Okay. Scarcity is a lie. And it's only a reflection of your perception of the world. Now, I don't blame you, because that's the world that you've been raised in. Lies. Okay. People have been lying to you your entire life. But listen, if you can conceive of something as an idea and put energy into it, you will manifest it. That's it. Okay. So there is no scarcity. Okay? Even in the worst economy, some people will do well, right? Even in the best economy, some people will do horrible. Why is that? You see what I mean? So, and most people will just do average. And by the way, it's usually always the same people. Have you noticed? In the best economy, some people do really bad, and they also do bad in the bad economy, and vice versa. So it must be something in their mind, don't you think? So what I would do is I would work on my mindset and who you are. Who are you? What is your attitude? You see, go back to what we were covering in the beginning. All right. Oh, okay. Good. Thanks for being honest about where this channel is going, so I can unsubscribe. Thanks for the heads up. Definitely. All the best to everyone on their journey ahead. That's great. Please leave us. Isn't it funny that somebody doesn't want to? There are actually people that don't want to learn about love spells and psychic seduction and money magic. That's cool. I guess that's a monk that doesn't want to deal with all this filthy stuff. Okay. Floyd Mayweather. Do you consider yourself a pickup artist? No, I don't. I don't consider myself a pickup artist. You are so handsome. Yeah, whatever. Okay. What is your name, Josh? I would feel so much more comfortable if you were a girl. But look, I'm not homophobic. I don't have a problem with gay people. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, like, I'm not gay. Okay. I've seen your turtleneck in a dream. Okay. You smoke? I do not smoke. Like the born identity. Okay, yeah, very funny. How do you reprogram your subconscious apart from listening through the subliminals? Can you tell us 3 to 4 ways? Self-hypnosis is a good way. And yeah, some methods that I teach. I mean, you're gonna pick it up as you are in my programs. If you study there, I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot. How do you? Well, hold on. Is there a point where we need to stop thinking about it? Like being obsessed would be counterproductive. Uh, hmm. No, it's more about what you feel. It's not about what you think. Look, most of your thoughts are determined by your subconscious, right? So it's basically like this energy bubbling up. When you have a meditation practice, you will know what that feels like. You will basically have this energy bubbling up out of your subconscious, and that will determine basically what you think about. So obsessive thinking is basically having a block in your energy flow. Okay, so it's more about not having it. You have a feeling of not having something. Okay, and that creates the obsession. What you have to do in the ritual is you have to get rid of that. You have to get into a feeling of completely having something. Have you ever been in a relationship and you had a relationship problem? When you're the point or the moments when you're obsessed with the other person is when you're not completely sure that you have them. That's when the subconscious kicks in, and then you have this obsession about the person. When you're 100% sure that you have them, boom, there's the feeling of safety, and you can focus on something else. You see what I mean? It kind of works like this. So the obsession with the manifestation actually is a sign that you're not there yet. Okay. All right. Yes, I want to be a boss bitch. All right. Good for you. Yes, I want to be a boss bitch. Um, hey, brother, how have you been? I'm good, thank you. This message is held for review. Boss bitch. Boss bitch 21. Nice. Ashley says, hi, Ants. I'm glad to catch you. I just jumped on. Looking good as always. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hi, Frank. Good to see you live. What's up, man? Why do you don't recommend pacts with demons? Why only angels according to you? Look, I didn't say that. Okay, I did not say that. I have had pacts with demons. It's just I don't like to facilitate pacts with demons for most people. I don't like to do that for most people. Okay, because most people just can't deal with that energy, in my experience. Okay, so that's why. It's everybody's choice what they go for. You see, if you work with multiple spirits and demons, how does that work? What effects take place if you work with multiple all at the same time? Well, I mean, you got to find a balance between breadth and depth, of course, right? But I mean, if you have a pact, I don't recommend that you have a pact with multiple spirits all at the same time. What I'm saying is, you can have pacts with multiple spirits, but you should focus on one spirit at a time. That's what I'm saying. Okay. 305 Capricorn sends a hearts. What's up? How's it going? I remember you. You made a comment at one point where you had a problem of me doing an interview with my friend Kevin Gentry, the pimp, right? Yeah. I hope you got over it. Do any spirits turn down the pacts? What's in it? what's in it for them, I guess. They do, yes, they do turn down pacts at times. It's happened. Okay. But good question, man. What's in it for them? Well, there's always an exchange. There's always an exchange. A spirit thrives on attention and energy. So if you have a pact with a spirit, you're giving it a lot of energy and a lot of attention. You see. Also, look, the spirit's influence grows, right? If you're a spirit that rules over a certain aspect, you want to expand, right? You want to expand your reach into the universe, right? And look, are you familiar with Ray Dalio? Ray Dalio is a. I read his book recently. It was what was it called? Principles, right? And I also watched an interview of his. Ray Dalio's, I think, yeah, he's a hedge fund manager, and he said that everybody goes through three phases in their lives. In the first phase, you're dependent on other people. It's usually your childhood years, and then you're a young adult, and then you're in the second phase, and you try to get yourself to be successful. Okay, try to become successful, and when everything works, you get successful, and then in your third phase, which is when you're older, you try to help other people to get successful, and you try to lift up your environment in some way or another. See, so it's a natural progression. You see what I mean? And same with magic. At one point you try to learn this stuff. You try to get it to work for you. And then you get good at it. And at one point you start teaching it. But that's all part of the same development. Some of you, I'm sure, will go on at one point and start teaching magic yourselves. And that's cool. What I'm saying is that's a natural progression. You see, and we have that, and I'm sure spirits with spirit that works the same way. What good does knowledge do if you can't share it? Imagine you had all the power, all the money in the world, all the power in the world, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, and you just keep it to yourself. Like, what the fuck? What is that going to do, right? So, it's like, who's that comic character? That duck that was swimming in his gold coins. Are you going to do it like that? What's his name? Shroot McDuck or something like that? McDuck. Hold on. McDuck family. Hold on. McDuck family tree. I'm looking that up right now. Really interested in that. Hold on. The McDuck family tree. What's his name? They're going back into history. The McDuck. Where is he? Scrooge. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. Do you remember that guy? Scrooge McDuck swimming through his money. Is that what you're going to do with it? No, of course not. You're going to share it at one point. You're going to try to affect things outside of you for the better, right? And you're going to do the same thing with knowledge and wisdom. You're going to share it. Are there any negative effects? Normal, yeah. Are there any negative effects for working only with angels? No. Now, you could be a little bit. It's kind of like look. It's kind of like this. Demons represent chaos. Angels represent kind of like order and structure and all that. So you need a little bit of creativity in your life. Okay, if everything is too structured and all of that, it kind of like kills innovation. You know what I mean? And that's how you should see your energy too. Okay. let's say business, okay? Big business. If a company gets too big and too uh, slow, like I don't know, what would that be? Blockbuster. Somebody else comes in that is more innovative and eats you. Okay? Netflix. So what I'm saying is you need a little bit of creativity. And then you need a little bit of chaotic energy in your life, definitely. But it always has to be based on a solid foundation. Okay, so I'm sure you understand what I'm saying here. So you need both of those energies, but you need a balance. Most people are not balanced, you see, and that's why they fuck up. That's why they end up in prison. That's why they end up, you know, as junkies. That's why they end up as fucking, you know, fucking weirdos. I mean, you wouldn't believe the kind of bullshit that people justify because they're like working with demons, you know. People justify pedophilia with that, you know. People justify any kind of criminal activity. Well, I'm a Satanist. I work with demons. I can do that. No, there's definitely being fucked up, and you know that applies to those people. All right. I always do the ritual you posted in the inner circle as a daily practice now. I feel a better meditation session. Very good. Demons are more complex and speak in riddles, more which advances the practitioner. They are not for everyone. Angels are more direct with channeling. Demons tend to use your environment in complex ways. I do not agree with what you just said there. What would the effect be of visualizing the seal of the Grail in certain situations? Thank you, sir. Alex from the Grail. Okay, so the effect will be that things go your way more. You know, it's always going to be in your benefit. It's going to work in your benefit. The one that uses the seal in your best interest or in your benefit, that's the effect. Okay. Before going to bed, I recited a person's name. Love me at least 10 times, and that person came in my dream. What does that mean? It means that you built a psychic link to that person when you were thinking of them. We build a psychic link when we think of someone intensely. Okay, that's what it means. God's Hermetic teachings inform me of the proper offering for specific demons and angels. Well, yeah, if you learn correspondences, yeah, definitely. Frank, what's the most intense way a spirit has communicated with you? Was it physical, a sequence of thought forms? What is your definition of physical communication? Spirits communicate with me in. I have conversations with them like I with normal people. You know? Well, look, when I channel spirits, it's usually a more profound message. Okay. I mean, what you hear, what you see in terms of channeling is usually meant to teach something. Okay, and that will be quite a profound message. Okay, but when I have a conversation with a specific entity, it's not always that profound. You know, it could be something very direct, and it could be very to the point. You know, they use very what's the word? Very specific terms. You know. So it's often a conversation like with a normal person. All right. Hold on. I hope this isn't considered off topic, but are there any movies that you think you could help neophytes familiarize with all your teachings? Movies. To be honest, not really. To be honest, I don't know. But I can give you a bunch of movies with occult topics, or let me give you a movie list of movies that I really like. I like The Devil's Advocate. I like that one. I like The Serpent and the Rainbow. I like The Matrix. I like um, there's this other movie. What was it called? Big Wet Asses Volume 4. That's actually my favorite one. I'm just fucking with you. No. Just the three that I mentioned earlier. I want to know, when you advance in witchcraft, can you keep the same lover, or will you guys naturally break up because your vibration changes as you advance? Well, Dragon subs. I think you're really really obsessed with guys, aren't you? Like every question is about that stuff. No, I mean, hey, that's fine. That's cool. But you're really into that topic, right? I don't know if there's a general answer. I really don't know. What's your Instagram? Good question. Okay, let me post the link here. My Instagram. Instagram. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Meet me on the gram, or what's that? Follow me on the gram. And the posts, I mean, the link has been posted right now. What's the use of protection without attracting on continuous basis? Does that make sense? No, it does not make sense to me. Hey Frank, what's up? What's up, man? What do you think it will be like having 3 pacts at once? And can you have a demon pact and an angel pact with no issues? Yeah, all of that is possible. You can handle all of it. Completely looking forward to you writing your book. That book will be filled with extreme power. That's for sure, yeah. What do you do if you're thinking negative, but you're aware of it, but it still doesn't stop? Okay. What do you do when you're thinking negative? Well, you don't look. Thoughts have momentum behind them. Okay, so let's say you have a pattern of negative thinking that has momentum behind it, and you got to break that momentum. So that means you got to put enough energy into a positive thought, and you got to reaffirm that until that negative momentum is broken, and you think about that positive stuff more. Okay, but I mean, I got to give you a warning. We all have a tendency. The natural tendency of the mind is to think negatively. Yeah. So it takes constant discipline. It takes constant effort to push yourself into the positive direction. Could you tell us about a pact with Lucifer? Can you ask about that? I don't know what you want to know about it. Yeah. Is having multiple pacts advisable? Yeah, it's okay. What's the deal with cryptic? Cryptic? Crypt. I don't know what that is. Is that a gang affiliated topic? Cryptic. I have a cryptic. I have a cryptic. Cuz, cuz, cuz. Is that a cryptic? I have a cuz. All right. What did I miss? Oh, bro. Watch the replay. You missed a lot. Hey, why do I witness them gain? What? Why do I witness them gain people's trust and then lie to them catastrophically? Guys, please, 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 when you write your questions here, make them sound like I sound like seriously. You make me sound like a retard sometimes when I read this shit. Okay, sometimes I watch the replay and I'm like, God damn it. You actually said that? I was like, no, I didn't say it. I read it. Please, guys. Okay, I'm giving you so much here. Please, at least use proper English, use a syntax and grammar. And some punctuation wouldn't be that bad either. Okay, so use commas and fucking full stops or something like that. Look at that. This is like all over the place, man. Scrooge McDuck, yeah. What will your psychic seduction for men subliminal do for the man? Who will that subliminal make women come to you? How will that subliminal make women come to you? Well, look, let me explain. If you have been here in the beginning, or if you were here in the beginning, I explained that your attitude, it determines your actions, okay? And it's be, do, and have. I'll tell you what, I talked to a girl the other day, okay? And we were watching the show, and there was a guy in that show. And I asked her, who do you think is the hottest guy in that show? And it was not the most buff guy. It was not the most handsome guy, at least that's what I think. It was, she said, he's super smooth, okay? He's smooth, okay? He's smooth. A lot of girls, you will hear them say that the guy just has swag, and with that kind of swag, he could get laid just based on the swag that he has, okay? Now, what does all of that translate into? They have totally vague ideas. By the way, this is what women like to do. They like to be very vague, okay, so that guys can't figure them out, and that puts the power in their hands. I mean, it's kind of like a cultural thing where we're taught that women are so mysterious and their attraction is, it's so mysterious that you can't figure out what they're attracted to. And why? Because a man that knows how to systematically get women attracted to him is dangerous, right? Because at that point, he doesn't have to play their game anymore, right? Well, what the diamond industry do, God damn it, or the flower industry. By the way, I'm proud of that fact. I have never, ever, ever bought flowers for a woman, okay? Ever. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't plan on doing it. I've never paid for sex, and I never will do that, okay? And come on, buying a diamond to get a girl to like you, is that not like paying for sex? Okay? So what I'm saying is, and it's not even about me. I don't want to make this about me. What I'm saying is, she said he's super smooth, okay? He was just smooth. That's what made him sexy. So let's translate that from this vague language that women like to use into concrete terms, okay? What they were saying is his attitude is sexy. His attitude, he doesn't give a fuck. His attitude is attractive. He's smooth, he's got swag, he's just I don't know. That's what they're all saying is his attitude is sexy. That's what makes him sexy. Okay? His presence, all of that is an attitude. So when you use a subliminal like this, it's going to reprogram your subconscious, and that will change your internal map, and that will give you the attitude. So they're going to say about you, I don't know what it is. He's 4'2". He's fat and he's bald. But for some reason, I'm attracted to him. He's got the swag. I don't know. He's so smooth. He's so smooth. I don't know. He's so smooth. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if a midget smells your pubic hair and says it smells, no, if a midget smells your pubic hair, is that sexual harassment? Is it? Never mind. Okay. Back to the topic here, or back to the questions. All right, 1 second. Let's see. I know many female students of Frank White order, and why was Connor Kendall not from your order? Who? Connor Kendall? Okay, my friend Wasale. You're making, I don't know, I think look, there's always someone. There's always one, right? That just, I don't know. Okay, my friend, I have to get rid of you. Some people just ask weird ass questions, right? Like no context at all. They just throw it out here. It's like, it's almost as if they, I don't know. Let's see. Hey Frank, how do you stay balanced and unaffected by external stimuli, especially after an intense ritual? I do get affected by external stimuli. Of course, I do get affected. And do I stay balanced? I have a certain routine to stay balanced. Besides that, look, I think what I have good control over is my own mind. Okay, so I am able to focus on what I want to focus when I want to focus, and that's it. That's all I need. That's literally all I need to live my life successfully. I can focus my mind, my entire mind, my conscious and subconscious mind, on whatever I want, whenever I want. And when think about it, that's what life is all about. So that's what keeps me balanced, my self-control. When will the Grail of the Serpent forum be ready so that I can watch your psychic seduction lecture, money magic lecture, and take notes? Good question. Well, we're working on it. You know, I want to make it really, really, what's the word? I mean, just wait a little bit. It's not going to take that long, okay? I don't know. I can't give you a concrete timeline, but it's not going to take a month. Very soon, okay? All right. I have a ringing in my left ear. What can I do to heal this? My friend, I'm not a doctor. I'm also not a therapist, okay? I don't know what there comes from, but I have a funny story when it comes to that. there's this thing. I mean, this is a story this is a true story, and it's always used to, or often used to prevent people from believing everything they hear from so-called authority figures. Okay, there's something called captainitis, which is basically you believe what the captain says regardless of what happens. Okay, so there was this guy who had a problem with his right ear. He had a ring in his right ear. Okay, his right ear was fucked up in somewhere or another. Okay, the professor checked out what was going on with his ear and then wrote him he gave him a medication, or basically wrote something on his piece of paper so that the guy could get a medication. And what he wrote down was R.E.A.R. Okay, right ear. That's what he meant to say, but he abbreviated it by writing down R.ear. Okay. Now the dot couldn't, I mean, it wasn't really visible. So the guy with the problem in his ear went to the nurses and gave him that piece of paper. And the nurses read rare. Okay. So he was subscribed some drops. And the professor meant that he should get them into his right ear. Okay. The nurses read rare. Okay. So what they did next was, yep, you guessed it. They put those drops in his ass. The drops that were meant for his right ear. He got up in his ass 3 times a day, 5 days long. After 5 days, the professor checked back and was confused because the guy still had problems with his ear. Like, why are your ears hurting still? You've been getting all these drops. What's wrong? Huh? Right? And then they noticed that they had made a mistake. So think about it. Those were nurses, highly trained professionals. You know, that's what they're called, right? And the guy fucking, look, how do you take fucking drops in your ass when your ear is hurting? Like, come on, common sense, right? But it's basically they believe somebody because he's a professor, right? They believe anything. So that's just that's a side note. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Let's see. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week. Good call, Frank. Don't make me sound like a retard. Yeah. More side notes, please. Yeah. Hold on. All right. Okay, guys. I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning. From now on, the Grail of the Serpent is only going to focus on 2 topics. Okay, we're going to focus on psychic seduction and love spells, and money magic and wealth magic. All right. So those are the only topics that I'm going to cover. Now, under that umbrella, a lot can be done. Okay, so don't worry about that. It's still going to be plenty of stuff. So spread the word. Okay. If people want to learn about love magic and psychic seduction, as well as money magic, they should come to the Grail of the Serpent. For you guys who are already here, join the Empire of the Grail of the Serpent. How do you do that? First of all, you need to join the Grail of the Serpent Inner Circle Facebook group. Okay, every Tuesday, I will post a link for a free Zoom call in that group with highly, highly, highly valuable content, I promise. And you will get that all for free. You will also get exclusive content in that group. Plus a forum is being created that you can join for free. And you will get highly, highly valuable exclusive content in that forum as well. Okay. Become a member of this empire, Grail of the Serpent Inner Circle. You're only going to get more powerful from doing so. Join us. And here's the thing. I was talking about pacts here, right? And I was talking about that because it's something that is very misunderstood. Now, for those of you, who believe they're ready for a pact, you can use the link that I'm posting right now. Okay. You can use the link that I've just posted. And I'm going to post it again, okay, just to make sure twice. You can use that link and see where it goes. This is how you can get in contact with me, and we could discuss the possibility of a pact. Okay. So for those of you who already or have entertained the idea of a pact, we'll see what we can do. Okay. Use that link and we'll take it from there. Okay. So I'll leave it at that. And I hope you got something out of this. Watch the replay. I mean, this lecture is going to stay up. Talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye-bye.